Welcome, listener, to another deep dive. Remember those days, huh? Endless pinching and zooming on your phone just to read a website. Or worse, getting kicked over to some clunky, totally separate mobile version. Well, today, we're diving into the idea that pretty much killed those headaches. Responsive web design. Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. Responsive web design, RWD for short. It's essentially a method, right, for building websites that just adapt seamlessly to whatever device you're using: phone, tablet, laptop, big desktop monitor. This guy, Ethan Morcott, coined the term back in 2010. And it wasn't just a tweak. It really fundamentally reshaped web development. It got rid of that old nightmare of building two separate sites, one for mobile, one for desktop.
Oh, absolutely. It's actually kind of wild how fast RWD went from this, novel idea to just essential. I mean, when Marcotte first wrote about it, mobile traffic was tiny compared to now. Now it's over half globally. In lots of places, it's the main way people get online. So that whole desktop first thinking got completely flipped. It wasn't just a trend. It was seeing where things were headed,
Yeah.
making the web usable everywhere.
Okay, that explains the what really well. But for folks listening, maybe developers or just curious minds, what actually changed in how we build things? What's the magic under the hood that makes a layout so fluid?
Right. So the magic, as you call it, boils down to three main things: fluid grids, flexible images, and CSS media queries. The really big shift was moving away from rigid pixel values. Pixels just don't work well across different screen sizes. So instead, we started using relative units, like percentages, for these fluid grids. Meaning, if you set a sidebar to be, say, 25% of the page width, it stays 25% wide, whether it's on a phone or a huge monitor. And modern tools like Flexbox and CSS Grid have made implementing this so much easier.
Okay, fluid grids make sense for the structure. What about images? They used to be a huge problem, right? Spilling off the screen.
Oh yeah, images were a massive headache. The basic fix now is setting max width, 100%, and height.auto. That tells the image, hey, don't be wider than your container, and it scales down proportionally. But it gets much smarter than just shrinking. We use things like circset or the picture element. This lets us provide different image files for different situations, like a smaller, optimized image for a phone on a shaky connection versus a big, high-res one for a desktop on fast Wi-Fi. It's not just about looks, it's about performance, load speed, saving data, a better experience for everyone.
Right, so grids for layout, smart images. What about the real intelligence layer, the CSS media queries? That's where the site really figures out its environment, isn't it? But I remember early on, it sometimes felt like just patching things for specific phone sizes. Has that evolved?
It really has. Media queries are the triggers, basically. They let you apply styles only if certain conditions are met, like the screen width or if it's portrait or landscape. And you're right, the initial approach, often called mobile first, started simple for small screens and then added complexity for larger ones. But the big evolution was moving away from targeting specific devices like styles for an iPhone, styles for an iPad. Instead, the best practice now is content-driven breakpoints.
Content-driven, what does that mean exactly?
It means you let the content tell you when the layout needs to change. Like if a line of text gets awkwardly long or columns get too squished, that's when you introduce a breakpoint and adjust the layout. Not because you hit some arbitrary device width. It makes designs way more flexible and honestly future-proof. New devices come out, your content-driven design is more likely to just work.
Thinking back to maintaining those separate MDOT sites, the single code base aspect of RWD is still just elegant. So tying this all together, what does this mean for businesses, for anyone with a website? It's not just about looking good, right? There are real performance wins, like responsive typography, using relative units, Ms, rems, even VW for viewport width, and that clever CSS clamp function. That ensures text is readable, comfortable no matter the screen size. Clamp is great sets of minimum, ideal, and maximum size. No tiny text, no giant text.
Exactly. And those efficiencies translate directly to the bottom line. Think about it. One code base to manage, one content system, one set of analytics. That massively cuts down on development time, maintenance headaches, potential errors. It's just much more cost-effective long-term.
Okay, cost savings sound good.
Yeah.
But is it always smooth sailing? Are there hidden complexities or gotchas businesses might bump into?
That's a fair question. While the long-term benefits are huge, the initial setup can require more planning. It's a different way of thinking for designers and developers. The biggest gotcha is probably underestimating testing. You really need to test across a lot of different screen sizes and browsers. And sometimes, if you don't fully commit to that content-first approach we talked about, your media queries can get really messy and hard to manage.
Right, testing is key. And we can't forget SEO. Google basically demands mobile friendliness now with its mobile-first indexing. Responsive sites inherently avoid duplicate content problems you had with separate mobile sites. They consolidate all your link power to one URL and generally offer that faster, consistent experience that search engines reward. Better rankings, lower bounce rates. It all connects.
Wow, okay. That's been a really thorough look at responsive web design. It's so clear it's not just nice to have anymore, it's foundational. Absolutely essential. And the cool thing is it's still evolving. The core ideas are solid, but now we have things like container queries emerging,
Yeah.
which is kind of the next level. Instead of a component adapting based on the whole browser window, it adapts based on the size of its own container.
So like a little module adapting independently.
Exactly. Imagine a product card automatically changing its layout if you put it in a narrow sidebar versus a wide content area. All by itself, it makes components way more reusable and intelligent. It's a big deal for design systems.
That's fascinating stuff. So it seems the question isn't if you should use responsive design, but really how to nail the implementation for your users and your goals. Maybe the deeper takeaway here isn't just about screens getting smaller or larger. It's that the web itself isn't a fixed page anymore. It's fluid. It's context-aware. And that demands we constantly think adaptively. The rigid page is gone. It's all about the fluid experience now. Something to think about as you browse the web today.